Hello everyone, my name is Anoushka Sharma and I have secured rank 20 in the UPSC CSE 2022. This was my third attempt. In my first attempt, I could not clear prelims. In my second attempt, I reached the interview stage, but I missed the finalist by 7 marks. And in this third attempt, I've got the 20th rank. So, a brief background about me. I was born in Jaipur, but I've done my schooling from Mumbai and Chandigarh. And for my college, I went to the City University of New York and I did my BBA in economics. And after completing my BBA in 2019, I came back to India and I have been preparing since October 2019. And so, after 3.5 years of hard work, I've finally got success. So I think there were mainly two reasons for this. One was my background in economics. It provided me with a toolkit which had direct implementation, policy formulation, etc. And the second was my internship at the United Nations Secretariat. So I worked as an economic affairs intern in the Department of Least Developed Countries, and I saw that the issues were at the implementation level. So I just wanted to come back to India and help in removing any impediments which are reducing the development growth. And I think I just wanted to be a part of the development story of India. So I feel like that the basic strategy will remain the same regardless of the toughness of the examination. So my strategy used to be having concise sources and having notes from them, such as for governance, internal security, etc. And then revising those notes again and again so that they provided you with the confidence to attempt the MCQs in prelims as well as answer the questions in the mains examination. So after, I would say, revisions, I used to focus on practice through mock test and mock interviews. And therefore, I would say having concise sources, constant revisions, and then practicing also in a regular manner that helps. And I think that was my overall strategy. So even though this year CSAT and prelims were very difficult, I would say focusing on the knowledge aspect is something which needs to be improved going ahead. And again, practice through mock tests can make a person more adequate to deal with any toughness that might result in the paper. So I think it varies because I'll tell you one thing. In my first attempt, I gave almost 50 mocks for prelims, but I did not revise even one of them. And that was the main reason why I could not attempt questions in prelims. But the next year, I gave around 35 mocks and I could clear prelims very easily. So I think in UPSC, it's quality which matters and not the quantity. And therefore, I would say it depends on the person's own capability as well as the comfort they have with different prelims or mains papers. And I think based on that, the number of mock tests can be selected. So I used to study for 8 to 10 hours regularly, and every day that was not possible. So I used to take breaks also. Like some days it used to be just 6 hours or 4 hours. But in general, I used to maintain 8 to 10 hours. And when exam was approaching, I used to study almost 14 hours. So that was my case. But I think it again depends on the person because you have to focus on quality studying rather than just sitting at the desk. I would say it is integrated on the level of facts and information because in prelims it's a lot of factual information, and I think that provides you with data for introduction and conclusion in mains answer. So I would say it was not separate, but obviously 3 months before prelims I used to start focusing solely on prelims, and for mains I think a more detailed strategy is required and detailed notes are required. So it was separate in terms of the topics which were not common in both, but in general I would say it is integrated at some level. So I used to read the Hindu daily, and for my interview preparation, I read three newspapers. So I read the Hindu, the Indian Express, and the Mint. But I would say read the papers not to make notes out of them, but rather to just improve your vocabulary and also just gain information and also opinions, which are useful in mains and interview. So I would say daily newspaper reading is helpful and therefore it should not be substituted with anything else. So my optional is economics, and the reason for choosing this optional was my background. I have done my BBA in economics, so that was one of the reasons why I chose this. But having said that, I think economics is a very technical subject, and therefore I had to dedicate a good 3 to 4 months separately just for the optional preparation. And for the paper one, it was technical, and paper two was Indian economy, which was completely new for me. So I would say almost 70% of the syllabus was uncovered and it was something new. But I think if you have a understanding and you have an interest in economics, then it can be a good optional. So in essay I got 125 and in ethics I got 118. So those were my scores. So I'll start with essay. So I think for essay, no separate preparation is required as such. The preparation of GS papers will provide you with the content for essay. And I used to attempt essay papers like every weekend, just so I knew there was flow in the essays, etc. And I also tried to write essays on diverse topics, just so if in the examination anything came, I had my content ready on various topics. And I think while attempting the paper, the strategy used to be dividing the time 1.5 hours for both the essays, and I used to devote the first 15 minutes for like brainstorming in terms of like different aspects, the anecdotes that can be used, the facts, and the conclusion, etc. So I think covering various dimensions in essays and choosing the topics you're comfortable with is key in getting a decent or a good score in it. So for I would say the strategy was same for them, because what I did was I took the syllabus and every keyword that was mentioned in the syllabus, such as secularism or internal security topics such as left wing extremism, etc. I prepared data, stats, facts, etc., so that I had enough information to write a 250 word answer. So I had very concise notes, and for that I used static books such as Lakshmikant, etc. And for dynamic topics, I used current affairs compilations as well as the internet extensively. And usually the approach was just typing the word and typing UPSC after it. So I used to get a lot of websites with lot of information. And I would say one direction that is required for compiling this data is looking at the previous year papers. So based on the previous year questions, I knew what was being asked in the mains examination, and based on that I used to prepare my notes. So for every keyword that was mentioned in the syllabus, I had enough notes prepared, and I think that provided me with the information required to write good answers in the mains examination. So I used to practice through mock test, and I think having concise information helped me in reducing the time of attempting the mock test too. I got 204 in interview. I would say it's a mix of both, because your preparation for prelims and mains provides you with the information to answer current affairs questions, etc. But I devoted separately 2 3 months to interview preparation. I used to read three newspapers, like I said, the Hindu, the Mint, and the Indian Express. And also, I prepared my DAF very extensively. So I prepared the cities I've stayed in, the comparison between them, the states such as Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Also, my UN internship that I had done. So I prepared extensively about the United Nations, and 30% of my interview was based on United Nations. So I think preparing your DAF, current affairs, and thirdly your economics, the optional application portion is very important, and I think these three aspects were something which helped me get a good score. So I had Manoj Soni sir, and I was the last to go in the forenoon session of 3rd May. And I think it was very cordial. Sir was very smiling, and all the members, they asked analytical questions based on the DAF, and also extension of economics or international relations based on the conversation which was happening. So I would say it was a very engaging and interesting discussion, and the interview went on for around 35 to 40 minutes. I would say having a strong support system plays a key role. For me, my parents, my grandparents, my family, friends, and as well as my mentors, they always kept me motivated. Even in those low movements, they saw to it that I did not take anything to heart, and I just kept on moving ahead. And I think that is what kept me in the journey for 3.5 years, because motivation kind of gets low in the journey, but I think insulating yourself from negative energy and having a strong support system helps. Insights has played a very crucial role. Actually, even when I started my preparation, I was told that you should look at the website and get an idea about what has to be prepared and the syllabus, etc. And I used to refer to the daily current affairs which were published, and I used to try to make notes out of it. And the Insta plans that were released for prelims, I used to follow them very extensively, and I think that helped me in my second and third attempt very much. And last but not the least, I think the interview guidance program that I took this year was very helpful for me, because sir told me the key flaws that were present, and I think I worked on them extensively, because he told me that depth can be increased of your answer, and I worked on that, and I think that has helped me boost my score to 204. So I'm really grateful and thankful to Insights. I would say this is a long journey for most people. So don't get demotivated by the failures that come in your way. If there is any mistake, learn from those mistakes and improve the strategy and keep on working hard. And I think if you persevere and you work smartly, then I think success can be yours. So, all the very best to all the aspirants.